we're from Spain. I'm talking about my name is Akira Kuwamura, associate professor at IT University. I'm talking about status quo versus internationalization of education. By examining the recent MEXT report, which came out in March 2021, which Japanese international education, internationalization strategy was based on, actually, so by that time. And I chose this because there are several reasons. One is report like this has tended to be only available in Japanese, so I tried to report back report this back in English in a nutshell. And although it's a bunch of stuff, so I might skip here and there. So if you bear with me. So anyway, okay. So outline here the introduction and a little bit background, and followed by key measures. 5 of them, which I'll explain it in a moment, and there are action plans. So there are a bunch of action plans for each measure, and the remaining issues in what areas there are issues still remaining, and then conclude with future directions and. Here, hit that. Okay, yeah, got it. Okay, so this is a little background. So yeah, as maybe many or all of you know, and just look back, 300 plan was the successor of the previous 100,000 student plan in 1983, which goal was reached 3 years behind in 2003, and this one, its numerical goal was set to be reached by 2020, and implemented across several ministries. So a bunch of ministries were involved. Other way. Okay, so like Mobisho, Ministry of Education and Cultural Affairs Agency dealing with educational matters, and Gaimsho, MOFR, public relations, and because I think some usually play key role in there. That's instrumental in tying close ties with industries, and Constitutional Kambocho, tourist agency, and offering tours, educational tours. And Home Show is one of the most important institute here. Kosei Show deals with career support for international graduation. And it's a key measure. 5 of them, not really, but just measure 1. They're stated in English, so just in a nutshell. And probably there should be practical. So it deals with international student recruiting and marketing. And 2, examination admissions. So international student admissions. And measure 3 is about internationalizing and globalizing universities. And 4, host environment, so trying to provide international students with a more welcoming learning environment, and then finally, project center. So this has to do with career support for international students after graduation, which has strengths, I think, in the country. So what are the action plans? Okay, so a bunch of them. So I just numbered it, so to make it easier for you, for you guys. So internationalization. Sorry. Measure 1, international marketing. What they plan to do, and we implemented it, is that dissemination information on Japanese culture, society, and Japanese higher education, which is kind of similar to the next, the next measure, the first action of the next measure, dealing with study in Japan promotion, and action 1.2 will provide the language learning opportunity overseas. Language learning opportunity overseas. This is kind of similar to Confucius Institute, China has been providing for years, trying to probably I don't know, copy or something. And open education for Japan did by. And like I said, Action 2.2 the study in Japan, and so they set up the website, which I'm talk about a little bit later, and pretty much this is really long-standing issue. And Western education, as you know, most Japanese universities have had the applicants travel all over from their country to Japan to take an examination at their university of the choice. So that's really an issue here. So let's see what they did a bit later on. And touching enrollment management and also simplifying the complicated, complex procedure of the integration process is another action. And this is kind of what to do with teams at this conference. Invest, so trying to select hub universities, a few hub universities, and increase of student mobility, which is the very core of this project, and promotion international inter-university cooperation, and the more partnership universities in larger numbers, and so allocation and funding to attract students to a few selected universities to ensure kind of stable enrollment. And measure 4 is international student housing support. This is another thing. Probably more open, try to be open to housing availability here. And it has some various scholarship programs, also continue offering vocational scholarship and other ones, and language education in Japan. So this is, as opposed to language education overseas, I mentioned earlier, this is domestic language education, more, need to strengthen learners, international students, and residents. And the final measure is support employment at universities and awareness raising on hiring like non-Japanese employees, and also strengthen job hunting support system with international students using employment service center for foreigners. I don't know if you know the presence of these centers throughout Japan. Not all over, in a few places. And also expansion of states of residence, more visa possibilities, staying up to 1 year for job hunting, for example. And strengthen human networks. So alumni association, support alumni association. So just keep us supporting international students that went back to their country after graduating from Japanese university, continue to support the alumni association. And outcomes, so what they did, how much they did. Let's see, numerical, as you know, was reached, right? Up to 300, a little over 300,000 students in 1999, which actually including a little over 80,000 language students. This is because the inclusion of enrollment students at the Japanese language schools. They started counting them in 2010. So that's why, otherwise they get over. Otherwise they would have made the goal, reach the goal. So here's a quick image. So 310 at the top. Let's see, 2020, 2019, and out of that number, over 220 are university students, international students enrolled in education, and also here, orange. Let's see, kind of orange line, 83,000 3,000 the number of international students enrolled at the Japanese language. So that's the whole thing. But after that, during politics, I'm sure that was covered by the earlier presentation. And so let's look at the what they did, what they accomplished here by actions. For example, they studied website in terms of international student recruitment. They set up web system and actually access number, the number of access doubled, and also university more increasing number of universities were set up career centers for both domestic international students and to strengthen. Also, they set up offices, some university offices set up offices overseas to recruit students directly in their countries by giving exam and interviews. Like 2014, for example, Southwestern, Sub-Saharan Brazil, and followed by 2018, CIS and former Soviet Union states and South America. Language learning opportunity overseas, let's see, number of language learning institutions went up a little bit modestly, 15,000 to 19,000. And learners of Japanese is again modestly during a span of less than 10 years. Okay. And this is such a part education practices again went up a little bit modestly. Went up modestly. So admissions, overseas test sites, it was not impressive, but only from 15 sites in 20 countries to 18 sites. So which is almost only the Asian region, including one Russian city which kind of facing Japan Sea, Vladivostok. So that's kind of part of the Asian, physically located in the Asian country. So it's not impressive. So that doesn't really, promote pre-departure admission that Japan has had as an issue. And also, let's see, what else went on? JLPT went up impressively, just the number, and obviously JLPT applicants went up actually close to 99,000 to 15,000 for EJU and JLPT, 500,000 to almost 900,000 in 2019. Also, MEXT set up more reserved slots for promotion of students, kind of a space for incoming students and recipients jumped here. And as a result, and pre-departure admission went from 77 in 2018 to 184. Looks went up, a great deal, but not really, because 185 institutions are still only 1/4 of the total number of college, number of four-year colleges and universities. And international student admissions, here I'll probably immigrant issue. I'll just skip here. They did effort. They made some effort, and international globalization is including global 13 universities were recipients, and global Japan, total of 42 universities were the recipients, and followed by Super Global for global university project, 37 universities. So that really contributed to the internationalization and globalization of Japanese universities. For faculty, 2008, little over 2,000 to 3,000, not much of an increase, and acceptance of international students is like that, not moderate increase. And also under global Japan, students with foreign language proficiency standard went up modestly again. Posted top foreign languages mostly in EMI, and went up also super global. Under super global university projects seem to enroll in foreign language medium degree courses with I think a great deal of staff language proficiency Japanese who have study abroad like that. And the English taught programs, for example, as a result, went up like that. And English taught programs and double degree programs that reached about 5 months. Okay, sorry, so let's skip that. Student mobility is actually under inter-university exchange project, formerly called Reinventing Japan project. Actually, we were able to send 16,000 and accepted 40,000 during that period. It's international student support has improved a little bit. Private housing support is increased, and scholarship for international students was secured in the amount of $23 million. And international support expected. So law was enacted and to improve students' accommodation, etc. And regional language learning support was improved a lot. Also, prefectural and manufactural language learning support was strengthened to some extent, and teacher training was also strengthened as well. Career support universities now send. I mentioned that more universities set up career centers. Private companies, small, medium-sized companies. Initiated by giving online interviews and collaboration with employment service centers for those in general. Career support again, support. Many issues of international relations again, like pre-pleasure mission, still really low. Actually, not really improved. Student mobility is, after Corona, it's really hard to maintain that. Actually, the number of outgoing students dipped actually after hit the peak at over 100,000 outgoing students, all the way down to a little over 1,400 in 2021, I think. So that's how good it recovered. And probably internationalization at home probably helped. Yeah, let's do something. Along with the student mobility, physical mobility. Language policy is still weak. Probably still leaning toward English language education in our country. So probably more options to probably from the studying as probably secondary level, more other language learning options, other secondary options. The faculty staff development, which is probably more EMI courses, but more training may be needed. And approaches to international education still, I mean, I'm talking about here is government approaches to international education. It's kind of similar. Like probably depending on a small number of group of elite institutions. And so funding is really an issue. More broad funding, depending on needs of each institution. Needs-based funding is, I think, needed here. Faculty network. So, see total number of faculty members. You see under 400,000 total faculty members. So out of that, probably foreign faculty members is probably so around 5,000 faculty. Still not much of a decrease. Fundamentation issue. future direction. So naturally, so what is the post 300,000 plan? So far, 100,000, 300,000 student funds focusing on incoming international students. So what's next? We continue deal with the increase of incoming international students, or more comprehensive package for the project, or what else? And diverse is based on that, which I mentioned. Diverse in faculty and foreign language education, which I mentioned. Continuing hiring international students, which is our strength, I think, and see clear improvement. Okay, so it has tight language learning tradition on the part of both domestic students and international students. The international students should be able to learn. Should have the opportunity to learn Japanese, of course, while doing their expertise, doing the specialized work. While Japanese students should be raise their level efficiency in English and other languages as well. Blended learning it's going to be a must. So it is, I think, now that the physical mobility is limited. It's very probably because of the increasingly part of the climate change. So, for example, I probably attended this EA conference online, and some of them told me that European students is now strongly encouraged to use ground transportation from one country to another. So anyway. The references, so probably I recommend although it's actually this one. So this is I read this design for this. Read this it's one sentence, like one paragraph long. It's really hard. So, but I encourage you to have access to, if you haven't yet. This it's already in the archive. It's hard to find from the next page. It's gone. And Gakushi University just starts always useful. Okay, thanks for listening.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, like I said, once again.